Welcome back to the channel. If you've been here before, you know that bulk of the work that is done on this channel is actually working on the property and fixing things, putting up retaining walls, pavers, and what have you. This is afforded to me by the opportunity of coming up to North Idaho and getting away from that urban metropolis area. And I couldn't but help notice the changes that are going on in the world around me that drove the decision to come up here to North Idaho, to look for that small town. Now, obviously, what's going on, and you've seen by the title of this video, about this Try That in a Small Town video. You know, when you look at the song, it's pretty basic, right? Things that we would take for granted. And even if I was to be honest about Southern California, for many years, I would argue that Southern California, my youth and all of that, I didn't remember it being out of control. For the most part, it was not. Now, if you were certain communities, you might see that differently. I understand that. But from my point of view, I grew up in a small town within a massive metropolis. And for the most part, I felt pretty much a part of a community. However, in recent years, I would say that that community has changed. And it wasn't really so much about the community, the immediate city that I lived in, but the surrounding nature of the encroaching chaos that was coming upon us. Unfortunately, that took a chunk out of one of the reasons why we wanted to stay in Southern California. Now, as I look back and I think about some of the things that I've seen up here in North Idaho, I have a certain bit of pride that's come along with this decision. It was difficult. However, I thought that those decisions were good. Because in the long run for the family, we were doing the right thing. And in the short run, I would be able to enjoy doing things that I like to do, such as the other videos on this channel. What I wanted to do today was a little bit different. I've seen this out there done, this thing called reactions to songs, videos that are on YouTube. I take this a little bit different, and the approach that I'm going to take in this video is basically to look at this song from the perspective of its words. The images are bad, and it's for the most part, I understand what's bad about it, and it's not what the community out there is talking about, or should I say those on a certain persuasion of politics are saying. The images are terrible because it's unbelievable that that's America. Okay, it is difficult to understand how it is that we could have a country where Jason is talking about is so out of line. How is it out of line to talk about carjacking? How is it out of line to rob a liquor store? How is it out of line to bash an old lady over the head for her purse? It makes no sense to me. Try that in a small town is simple. In a small town, I would have not had any idea what that meant. However, as you will see in this video, I did have the opportunity with my family, unwittingly to be honest with you. I had no idea it was about ready to go down. I drove in on June 1st, 2020 with my family to have a simple meal. When we got there, we found out there was a ton of traffic in what generally is a pretty basic street, Sherman Ave. It's, yes, a downtown area of a small town. And what we saw was we were just simply not prepared for. And that was an armed camp. Simply put, a rumor had gone out, maybe fact, maybe not, that there was an intention to take into the suburbs, as you may be aware. Coeur d'Alene is kind of a quasi, they would never want to admit it, but quasi-suburb of Spokane. And there was a thought that there would be some actors that would like to come across rather than protest, but cause violence like they did in other cities throughout the country. That was not going to be tolerated. What you're going to see in this video is an example of what Jason's talking about. Try that in this small town, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and you might find yourself in a bit of an issue. The good news is, as I will share in the video, there was no violence. The good news was there was no damage. And the good news is I saw people, frankly, of all shades, working together to protect their small town. I will cut those images over the course of the video. I hope YouTube will allow me to have this up. I frankly don't care if I make a nickel off of it. All I care about is getting out the images and confirming what Jason said. Is Coeur d'Alene unique? You betcha. That's why we're here. Is it anything different than another small town in this country? I doubt it to be so, and that's why Jason's talking about it. I'm going to go ahead now and just show you the song with the images that we saw that day. I would think that many of you may have heard about it, but most of you probably didn't. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and go into this video, and then I'll come back at the end and close out. This is my reaction to try that in a small town.
Sucker punch somebody on a sidewalk, carjacking old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool, act a fool if you like. Cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough? Well, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town. Got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up. Well, that shit might fly in the city. Good luck, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town full of good old boys, raised up right. If you're looking for a fight, try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. Ooh, try that in a small town.
Without a doubt, the song is definitely filled with good lyrics about the values of small town America. And if you took the lyrics by themselves, you would probably think nothing of it. Somebody touting the benefits of living in small town America. However, the video does have images, and those images, such as a courthouse that, as the rumor be on the internet, has some sort of meaning and effect on a certain community, are bad. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way because at the end of the day, he's celebrating small town. It is unfortunate in the course of American history that we've had situations. If you know your history, you would know that that is no different than the rest of the world. I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it for others, and I would expect that in these modern times that we have decided to walk away from such things. I believe we have. The images are bad because at the end of the day, it's one thing to protest. It is our right. Right, left, center, whomever. You have the right to do that. But you have no damn right to blow up a town that others worked so hard to build. You have no right to tear up a person's home or their community. You can't come from other towns and ask for your right to come in and destroy our town. That is what's seen in this video. You're seeing a community that's decided to draw the line. I saw that day many people from many backgrounds working together to protect their town. In addition, I sat kitty corner away from a group of protesters, arguably Black Lives Matter. Don't know. It doesn't really matter what group they were a part of. They were protesting in support of the trend that was going on at the time. They weren't confronted. They weren't pushed around. They weren't put in a place. They were talked to. There was reason. I could see it. I watched it. The only thing that happened during those hours at the downtown area on Sherman Way was that on the way back to our car that evening, we were actually followed by two guys. Not followed in the sense that we were in a dark alley or anything like that. We were just followed down Sherman Way. And unfortunately, those two individuals decided to make crude remarks. They were a part of the protest group. I didn't take the bait because I knew the bigger situation could have exploded. It was difficult. However, it was the responsible thing to do, to not be the simple match that could have lit a very difficult situation. Police were everywhere. There was more arms than probably most nations have in their entire country. And at the end of the day, I did not want to be that spark. That's a part of being responsible to the community. Okay, my pride meant nothing in the moment, even though they were definitely across the line. See, agitators are sent into these towns to cause problems, and they would have if this community didn't stand strong. Listen, I'm not a gun-toting individual. So, at the end of the day, I do respect those that do that on the behalf of others. Call it the modern-day Minuteman. Again, I reiterate, it may be the case that race is a conversation throughout the rest of this country. And it may be the case that I live in an area that's, 95, 96% Anglo. However, what I saw that night, and it's actually depicted in the video that I cut into, was several groups working together. Again, welcome to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. We believe in independence, freedom of choice, and a way of life that allows you to determine your outcome. I think this video illustrates that. I'm proud to have seen it. I'm not a big country fan. To be honest with you, I'm kind of on the hard rock side. So the song does have some good riffs and what have you. The lyrics are good, but not the greatest. But the imagery is what is getting everybody all caught up. Get over it. Stop being so sensitive. Because if you don't like it, then do something about it in this country. Behave. Treat others with respect. Love your fellow man. And don't tread on others. With that, I think I'm going to go back to just putting out pavers and knocking down retaining walls and maybe building currently I'm into this reservoir down by the street. I'm excited to build on my world. I live in a community that has already supported me in my efforts, so I'm excited about continuing to do so. This will be just another one of those music videos that raises controversy. I don't plan on calling out any of them. This one touched home because I was there. I saw what Jason was talking about. With that, thank you for watching. I will look forward to seeing you soon. See you back. Thank you.